Hey, everybody. I'm thinking we're live. I'm thinking we are live right now. We are a couple minutes early into um, can you see me? Is it too dark? I don't know. Like when I look at the camera, do I look like I'm looking at the camera or away from the camera? I don't know. Oh, there are some people. Okay. Hey, Linda and Stacy and Laura, Jean. Jean, you made it twice. Woohoo! Jeannie or G. Okay, is it Jeannie, which is what we'd say, Jeannie Thompson, or is it Jean Ann? Jeannie. Phonetically type that out for me. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Diane. Hello, Jeannie. Everybody is coming in. Jeannie. Lou Ann. All right, Laura said that I look all right because, okay, so this is like this new Facebook thing, and I know that I'm not sitting right, but that's okay because this is bedtime story with Tonya. Isn't that hilarious? Let's see. Hey, Cindy. Wrong, Jeannie. That's okay. I just like to get everybody's name right, and I'm not very good at that. So, anyways, hi, Tracy. Hey, Tammy. Oh, Tammy, is that my book cover? Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, I Dream of Jeannie, the TV show, Jeannie Thompson. That's what I thought. And my middle name is spelled like hers, but it's Jean. Awesome. Hey, Rose. My window's bright. Do I need to turn it? Ooh, how about that? Is that better? I'm sitting on a little couch with my blanket. My son Brady's girlfriend, she got me this cute little blanket. It's cactuses. Get it? Cactus. And they're all little cute cactuses. It was the best present ever. So, anyways, I'm so glad everybody's rolling in. Wow. Let's see. Laura's middle name is Jane. Your mother, woo la la, she went with the French spelling. Woo woo woo. That is fancy. Nancy. Hi Lee. She said she's losing sound. Is anybody else losing sound? I'm not sure what I would do about that. I'm so not. Yes, cacti. It is so cute. So of course I loved it. But hey Judy, I told all my boys that no matter who they bring home, I will love them all because someone has to take care of me. Hey Michelle. There are lots of jeans tonight. That's awesome. Let's see. So, anyways, I don't know if you guys caught my recording this morning. It wasn't really a recording, it was live. Stacy says her sound is fine. And so does Michelle. So, okay, I think our sound is good now. That's good. It could have been Wi-Fi. We have 4 separate Wi-Fis in this house because I have one for my she shed, which I almost went out there, but it's a little chilly and I don't have the heater on. And it takes a hot minute for that to cook to pick on. So I'm like, oh, maybe I will do the she shed tomorrow night or something. But anyways, so people have asked about my she shed and what I'm going to do when we move. Build another one. That's easy. I'm like Cheryl and her she shed. I'm gonna build another one, a she shed. But anyway, so what happened was that this morning when I went live, I had decided that I wanted you guys to realize that now that we are back in business and that over the past couple months, I don't know about you guys, but more than ever, I've realized that community is so important. I realized, oh, good, Lee has sound. I realized that, you guys are my community, even though that I'm still at home and I'm fortunate enough that I work from home and I still have my job. it still gets lonely, no different than it was before. But sometimes I would hop up and run to the store or go run out with one of my girlfriends for coffee. And so now I don't do that, obviously. And so I just really miss my community. And I'm like, you know what? We have a great community on Facebook. So, I really want to make our page, our group, just that warm, cozy, fuzzy community that I just love our community. So I got to thinking about how we could do different things. And after I had worked with Facebook on getting it back up and running, I thought, well, we've always been a great community here on our page. We've never had any problems. And so I'm like, we can just make it even more of a community. And how can I do that? And so I hope that with all the good posts, everybody posts in the group, and I love that. I love seeing your camper posts and your coffee posts and your grandkids posts, and it just makes it so uplifting. I feel like I know you. And so that's, I think, what makes our community just even better. So I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be fun to start reading a book? And I thought, maybe I shouldn't read a whole book, but one chapter a night. I mean, I don't know how many chapters are in this book, and sometimes we can do 2 chapters. There's 23 chapters, but I thought we could discuss it as we go through it or something like that. And if you can't get there that night, then you can just leave in the comments and come back to it later and we can discuss it. But I thought it'd be fun to do bedtime stories, and I thought that we would do a charming crime because I'm actually starting to plot the next book in this series, because people are like, oh, when is another June Hill book coming out? And actually, it is almost the 8th year anniversary of this series. I cannot believe it, y'all. I just can't believe it. Crazy. So what we'll do is we'll read this first chapter, and then we'll kind of discuss it, and you can ask me questions about it if you'd like. And every night I thought we would hop on at like 7. If there's a better time, just let me know if it's not working for you. But 7 is always just a good time here, but I'm flexible. So anyways, and we can switch up the time, 7, 8, 9, because it's not really bedtime, but I thought, oh my gosh, how much fun would that be? So then my thought is, after we read June Hill, we can either read another one, or we can just read different little sections of books of various backlists, because I have like 100 books that we can choose from. So anyways, let's start off with June. I've got chapter 2, so I've marked my spot. So it's so funny because nothing has been changed. This has not been changed. So a lot of authors, as they grow in their business, they might change covers, or they'll go in and change the inside. And I probably do need to update the inside of the book, because a lot of this stuff is just so outdated, and it's got all the old stuff in it, copyright and things like that. So you never know, I'll probably find some mistakes too. We'll need to note those. But at the time, this was my second mystery that I had written. So the first mystery was Splitsville.com, and then June Hill was this one, and then I started The Divorced Divas with Beat of Doubt. So that is so funny. So here is the list on the inside of books that I had. All those little on this side right here. So I think that's funny. So it's kind of funny to go back. But I do love the covers too, Michelle. I think it was a lot of fun coming up with it. And at the time, people were like, oh, you're going to use the same girl on the cover? I'm like, yeah, why not? So anyway, so let's start with chapter 1. I just love going through this old book. This is so fun because I just remembered the feeling of this book when it came out. Chapter 1. I know. I waved my hands in front of me, trying to stop anything that was about to come out of Oscar Park's mouth. But I knew it was useless. He slammed the door of his patrol car, took his hat off, and then waved it toward my shed, my burning shed. You know what? Truth be told, I didn't know much, but I did know how to handle Oscar Park, especially when it came to personal matters. I know I went a bit too far this time, but I really needed to figure out this new cure. Oscar grew up across the street, raised by his uncle, Police Chief Jordan Parks. Like me, well, sort of like me, Oscar's parents got killed in a car accident while my dad was shot in the line of duty. A bit, Oscar shook his head and pointed to the flames shooting up in the air. Unless you want the new cure to blow someone up, I think you're using the wrong ingredients. Now, Oscar, I shuffled out of the way of the zipping fire truck and took a bite of the ding-dong in my hand that I had grabbed on the way out of the shed when I knew it was going to combust. Was it necessary to call in all of Locust Grove's finest? Yes, June Hill. Oscar wasn't the 10-year-old boy who created havoc with me in that very shed while experimenting with my mom Darla's homeopathic cures. Though his crystal brown eyes were sincere, I knew he meant business. But you've done it this time. It's a total loss. I held the uneaten round end of the ding-dong up to him, and he took a bite. A big bite. I grumbled under my breath. He knew ding-dongs are my go-to comfort food. Old Mac McGirdle came running through the herb garden I'd planted after Darla had died, screaming, I told you she was going to set this whole town on fire if she kept mixing those chemicals. Mr. McGirdle was always spreading gossip when Darla died about how I turned a dose of Darla, my homeopathic cure shop, into a fire hazard by putting all sorts of crazy concoctions together. Settle down, Mr. McGirdle. Jordan Park snuck up behind us. Thank you for calling us and helping Miss Hill save her business. Huh. Mr. McGirdle threw his hands in the air and mumbled something under his breath. He's the one who called? I huffed and my bangs flew out of my eyes and I crossed my arms. He needs to mind his own business and stop walking through my herb garden. For a moment, Mr. McGirdle and I stared at each other until Jordan stepped between us. The shed looked like it was going to be a total loss this time. All the other 20 times I set fire, I was able to save it. Luckily, I only used the shed to create new homeopathic cures using Darla's old remedies. I kept the main ingredients in the basement of our house. My house now. I think you did it this time, Jordan warned, half serious. He walked away, shaking his head. He stopped briefly to talk to one of the guys from the fire department. Not only have you done it this time, you've really pissed off a lot of your neighbors. Oscar put his hat back on his head and looked around at the neighbors gathering on the other side of the fence in my front yard. They think you are as crazy as Darla was. Darla Hill, my mother. She was the creator of A Dose of Darla homeopathic cure. Everyone called her Darla, even me, because she didn't like to be referred to as Miss Hill, Mrs., or even Mom. Well, the old saying is right then, I snarled, studying every face gawking at me. They were just being nosy like always. And what old saying is that? Oscar asked. The apple, I pointed to myself, doesn't fall too far from the tree. Oscar's face split into a wide grin. And we sure did have some fun times in there, but you've got to admit you've outgrown this place and selling your cures at the flea market. I wish I had another ding-dong. I listened to what he had to say, and he was right. The retail space for A Dose of Darla had started in the shed until Darla moved it to a booth at the local flea market. She had all sorts of people coming to get her homeopathic cures, and she had been good at it. I spent most of my teenage years working Darla's booth at the flea market with Oscar right next to me, and hated every moment of it. I always swore I'd never take over Darla's business, and as they say never. When Darla died from an apparent heart attack, I did the only thing I could do to take care of myself. I took over a dose of Darla and began to experiment. Most of the remedies needed to be updated, and since I'd always been good in chemistry, I knew I could make them better. Making them better meant doing a lot of combinations different and not getting them to explode. Unfortunately, today was not a good mix of ingredients. I don't want to live in the country with all those scary noises. I knew what Oscar was hinting at. For weeks, he'd been begging me to get rid of this old house and move to a farm where I could make a real lab so I could create my own remedies the right way, not in a shed. Not in the country. He leaned a little closer and said words tentatively as if testing the idea. I stumbled upon a little village about 30 minutes from here when I went to check out a job opening. I have a good feeling about it, but keep it on the down low. I drew back and took in his expression. You can't leave the police department here. I was pretty good at reading him after all of these years, almost psychic. But the sun cast a shadow on his face, making it hard for me to see if he was serious. Shh! He held his finger up to his lips. I said down low, not out loud. I will be by tonight to tell you all about it, and it really is something you need to consider. He definitely had my wheels turning as I stood in the puddle of water created by the fire department in their efforts to save the shed. Only their efforts had been wasted. Jordan informed me that the fire chief told him that the shed was a total loss, as if I needed to be told. And all that was left was the cement foundation. Who knew that theocyanations mixed with chamomile was so flammable? I did now. Thank God, because the cure I'd been making had been one for me. I could really see Mac McGirdle's face if it had been blown up. I swear I saw Mr. McGirdle smiling all the way from his front yard. Excuse me! Excuse me! A woman yelled from the other side of the fence. She waved when she caught my eye. Yes, you! She pointed at me. I was glad to see everyone, but she had left. The show was finally over, and I could get back to work, except I couldn't, not without the shed. The lady was someone I didn't recognize. The floral A-line skirt was throwing me off a bit, but the black lace-up booties were definitely awesome. The closer I got, the more she reminded me of a younger version of Meryl Streep. The long blonde hair was long and wavy like Meryl's. Even her nose was small and pointed, only she had hazel eyes and sweeping lashes. Are you Darla from A Dose of Darla? She pointed her lace-gloved finger toward my home. I'm Darla's daughter, June Hill. I put my hand out, but she didn't take it, so I pretended to rub them together. Darla passed away a few years ago. Are you a friend? It wouldn't have been unusual for someone out of the blue to show up and visit with Darla. She had friends from all over. Darla was sort of a gypsy type. She believed in free spirits, holistic living, and open imagination. Darla taught me to be kind to everyone and everything. No, she scrunched her nose. Did you take over the business? She questioned me. I did. Something in my gut made me really suspicious of her. You sell something I might be interested in. She lowered her thick, dark lashes and stared at me. I sell homeopathic remedies, I muttered uneasily. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Mr. McGirdle making his way back across the yard as fast as his short little legs could carry him through the herb garden again. I was interested in selling them in my store. She pulled a business card out of the top of her glove. Please come pay me a visit if you're interested. Good day. I took the card from her fingers and we held a gaze for a moment. Her eyes wandered over my shoulder, and I turned around to find Mr. McGirdle giving her the wonky eye, which was his signature don't mess with me look. When I turned back around, the strange one was already in her car, pulling away from the curb. Do you need something, Mr. McGirdle? I sighed, walking past him toward the house. Meow. Mr. Prince Charming sat on the top wooden porch step, dragging his tail back and forth. He batted at cicadas darting in the air. The bottom of his tail was always black from all the wagging he did. It amazed me, however, he was always pristinely white. I'd assumed keeping clean would be difficult for most outdoor cats, but Mr. Prince Charming was not like any other cat I'd ever come across. I promised Darla I'd keep an eye on you, Mr. McGirdle said, stomping after me. Rolling my eyes, I made it up to the porch before he yelled, and I think you're causing more trouble in your adult life than when you were a kid. For a moment, I stood still, trying to think of an answer while Mr. Prince Charming did figure eights around my ankles, but decided to bite my tongue. It was easier not to argue with Mr. McGirdle. Oh, Mr. Prince Charming, must you? I bent down and flicked the dead cicada into the grass next to the step with all the other dead cicadas he'd killed. I swear he's on a mission to whack every cicada in Locust Grove. If the cat only knew the town was named after the nasty bugs, he'd be in heaven. I flung the screen door open and Mr. Prince Charming ran into the house before me. I closed the door behind me. This was generally how Mr. McGirdle and I ended all of our conversations. That was chapter 1. So, how many people have not read this series? Let's see. I'm going to go back and Jean asked what happened to our group. It was hacked, and so was my personal page. And I got an email from some hacker that had my passwords and said, if you don't pay me $2,500 or something like that, $1,500, I don't know. It was a hacker that they were going to expose me or something. I'm like, okay, expose me. Let's see. Linda Clark said she loves the series. Kathy, I'm so glad your favorite series. A new book's coming out this year. Oh, Becky, you should. It's so fun. I hope you come back and you can listen to the second chapter tomorrow night. Tammy asked what made me use ding dongs because, yes, they are my favorite. Ding dongs, they are not the same without the foil wrapper, Becky Scott. You are so right. But I love ding dongs, and obviously, you know, there's a charm bracelet, which I wear a charm bracelet. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of like me. So let's see. Hey, Christy. So fun. I think I've read this book, Jeannie. It's so good. I read it a long time ago, Stacy. I know. Isn't it fun? Luann, it's a fun series. And a lot of people were so leery because she turns out, I don't call her a witch, but I guess people would consider her part of a witch. But I am not a witch, and I don't know anything about being a witch. So a lot of people in the beginning kind of gave me some blowback and saying, oh my gosh, you know, I thought you were writing cozy mysteries. I didn't know you were a witch. I'm like, I'm not a witch. I made it up. It's fun. And she is a curist, which you'll get what she does coming up in the series and who all these people are in her past, which I love. And so this is actually my favorite series to write. I know it's hard to say that, but people are always like, oh, what's your favorite series? I'm always hesitant, but I guess it's because she has such a good place in my heart. And I spent a lot of times with her. At late nights, I was working full time back then and raising 4 boys. And at night, when they got all tucked in bed and my husband went to bed, I would work on the June Hill series. And I think, you know, those are some fond memories. Hard memories. It was a hard road, but it's all worth it. And so I just am so excited to be reading this with you guys. Lillian, thank you so much. It's so much fun. I'm so glad Timmy loves the series. Rhonda, Sarah hasn't read this book yet, but I'd like to. It's so great. Actually, the ebook is free on Amazon. So, oh, we're having a visitor. Hey, hi, hi. Whoop. There's my own little Mr. Prince Charming. But anyways, so you can get the book for free. And I'm really pretty proud of it. It's a great series. I love it. Yeah, Stacy. I haven't read in a long time either. That's why I'm like, I need to refresh my memory because I'm going to have a new book coming out in the series. Judy's read the series. Laura said keep reading. Cindy said she's read it when it's fun. I think Janie said she's read 2 or 3 books in the series. Yeah, Laura, there is a little magic in all this. So Rose said that she's enjoyed the series, and Jane said that she's reading it now. Kathy loves all the characters. And Jeannie, I just think, yeah, you just saw Rowena, my co-author. Oh, Sandra, I'm so excited for the next book too. I need to really plan out the next few weeks of my, or the next few months of my releases. So I'm so excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to read chapter 2 in the Charming Crime Magical Cure Cozy Mystery Series tomorrow night. We will be reading that at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you feel like there's a better time for you guys, we can throw those in the comments. If you have any questions, you can throw those in the comments as well. But we will be reading chapter 2 tomorrow night. So thank you guys, and I love our community, and I hope you enjoyed this. I will talk to y'all later. Good night. Sweet dreams.